Our next story is about what's happening in Syria, where fighting continues between the Syrian government forces and the Islamist rebel groups. 8 years ago, Syria's civil war had shifted in President Bashar al-Assad's favor. But last week, a group of armed rebel groups captured Syria's second biggest city, Aleppo, in just over 72 hours. This was a major blow for the Assad regime and has reignited a largely dormant war. On Tuesday, in fact, the anti-Assad forces reportedly reached the northern countryside of Hama. Hundreds of Iran-backed Iraqi fighters crossed into Syria on Monday to help the government fight the rebels. But Lebanon's Hezbollah is yet to join them. Iran has sent backup to aid the Syrian government forces fight back the rebel groups. The Islamist rebel groups had launched a shock offensive last week, remember, seizing a string of cities, including Aleppo. You see, Iran's constellation of allied regional militia groups aided by Russian air power has been integral to the success of pro-government forces. It's because of allies Russia and Iran that the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has been able to subdue the rebels who rose up against him in the past. And for all these years, Syria, with the help of Russia and Iran, was able to keep the rebels subdued. Today, that alliance faces a whole new test, a crucial one. Rebels have made lightning advance in northwest Syria. The seizure of Aleppo is the biggest success for the anti-Assad fighters in years. Government forces had held complete control of Aleppo since capturing what was then Syria's largest city in a siege. This was in the year 2016. In fact, that was one of the major turning points of the war that killed hundreds of thousands of people. And now the head of Syria's main opposition group abroad, Hadi al-Behra, has reportedly claimed that rebels were able to seize the city so quickly because Hezbollah and other Iran-backed groups were distracted by their conflict with Israel. Preparations had reportedly been made since last year for an assault on Aleppo. What's happening now is a major blow to the Assad regime. It basically shows just how fragile Assad's grip on power has become. It also shows that the rebel groups have the military capability to challenge the regime authority, especially in key strategic areas. The rebels comprise many different groups who have fought against the regime since the start of the Syrian uprising. Among them, the biggest is Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. It is leading the current offensive and controls most of the northwestern territory held by the opposition. The Syrian government has portrayed what's happening as a large-scale terrorist attack, quote-unquote. In fact, it has vowed to reverse the losses. The question remains whether the opposition fighters will actually be able to remain on the front foot and consolidate their position. And if that happens, they could even launch further attacks on the centers of power. As of now, the situation remains highly volatile and uncertain. Is this a setback for the Assad regime, or is this just a whole new beginning to the escalation? It's too soon to say. For now, Syrian government forces are getting help from Russia and Iran, like we just said. But any prolonged escalation in Syria risks further destabilizing West Asia, a region already roiled by Gaza and Lebanon conflicts. Will Syria be the spark for a wider West Asia war? Only time will tell. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.